Hello, Heatseekers. It's the Heat Sheet.
The heat is on. Hello, Heatseekers, and welcome to, I guess you would say, a very lonesome edition of the Heat Sheet this week. Apologies, Chris and Lewis are tied up with some personal matters, so you're just left with me this week. So I guess you can just say it's a kind of opinion piece. Just going to be a very short edition this week. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on on everything that's been going on in the wrestling world the past week, because a lot has happened. AEW held Dynamite in St. Louis on Sunday, and a lot happened there. I guess the big talking point was that insane match between Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. Pretty much everybody's lead favourite, I'd guess, to be match of the year. Just what a match. We all knew it was going to be a banger. It's two of the best in the world. Ospreay has already delivered many bangers in his short turn in AEW. This, I think, is the best one so far. Danielson, this is his last year as a full-time wrestler, so he's aiming to make it a very memorable one, and they've gone a long way in doing that. Plenty of highlights from it. The number one being the Tiger Driver that we believe is injured Danielson's shoulder, although there's a bit of speculation as to whether or not that might be a work or not, but we'll soon see. The big thing was Swerve Strickland finally became the new AEW World Champion. I think all roads were pointing that way anyway, but I'm delighted for him. He's been the sort of big new main event star for a while now. This was just the formality of it all, and I'm really interested to see where it goes for the year. It's got us a bit of history as well. It's AEW's first African American black champion. He defeated Samoa Joe for it. Samoa Joe, I think, has to be given credit. He really stepped up and rescued the main event scene in AEW after there was a lot of injuries and other factors that really halted the upper card of AEW. So Samoa Joe, hats off to him that he really came to the rescue there. The other big talking point was Jack Perry's return. He ran out from the crowd during the ladder match between the Young Bucks and FTR. Cost FTR the titles, which led to the Young Bucks winning it for the third time. They're the first 3-time tag team champions. And on top of that, last night on Dynamite, Perry actually attacked Tony Khan, which is just crazy to see. This is getting a Tony Khan's first sort of physical interaction on camera with AEW talent. I guess if you don't include the All-In Brawl from backstage, not that he was really involved in it, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see where it all goes from there. But Dynasty was a brilliant pay-per-view. AEW, for all its problems, for all the kind of the kind of faults that its products got right now, one thing's for sure, they put on brilliant pay-per-views. Revolution back in March was a belter, and they delivered again with Dynasty. I'm really looking forward to Double or Nothing in May, and then Forbidden Door in June. And for once, they're actually building a card early, because they've already announced that Will Ospreay is going to be facing Roderick Strong for the International Championship at Double or Nothing. So finally, they're showing signs of actually building a pay-per-view card early. Previously, they've been criticised heavily, whether rightly or wrongly, that they don't do enough to build up their pay-per-view cards early enough to leave it too late. Well, now they're getting on top of it quickly, so that's great to see. Away from AEW, in WWE, Becky Lynch became the new Women's World Champion. I would have liked to have seen Liv Morgan get it, but I think Becky makes sense. I would imagine her and Liv go straight into a feud. They might do a back and forth exchange of the title until Rhea gets back. So I'm looking forward to see what they do there. Also, Trick Williams became the new NXT champion. That one's not too surprising. We've known for a while that they've been planning big things for him. I think this surely means that Ilya Dragunov is now going to get his main card call up. I reckon they'll slot him in somehow to the Imperium storyline that's now in full effect. As we've seen, Vinci appears to have been kicked out of the team. So I'm thinking maybe Dragunov could come up and be his backup, and they'll face Kaiser and Gunther and tag team matches on that. But away from the ring, there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening, or kind of in the background of things. A really weird thing happened today. Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London, put out in a tweet that he wants to actually bid for London to host WrestleMania further down the line. And what's even more crazy is that Triple H responded to it, just simply responding to him saying, "Let's talk." So is it finally going to happen? Are we finally going to get WrestleMania here in the UK, probably at Wembley? Watch this space. Of course, I was shudder to think what the ticket prices of that were going to be, and I say that because I'm delighted to say that I got a ticket for Clash at the Castle, which is going to be held at the Hydro in Glasgow in June. But I had to pay a pretty penny for it. There was a lot of uproar about a lot of the ticket prices there. And while a lot a few guys actually paid a lot of money for it. I know I paid a lot, and I've only really got a nosebleeder ticket. But hey, look, I'm just delighted that Glasgow's getting a premium live event, WWE show here in the Hydro, and it's going to be brilliant. And I can't wait to see what we're going to get. So yeah, it's been a wild 7 days in wrestling. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on. Something that kind of flew under the radar as well. Cameron Grimes was released, which is a bit sad to hear because he was really going places in WWE. It also came out that he was told only a few days before that he's got nothing to worry about. His job is secure, and all of a sudden he's been released again. I don't know how much to take of that, but it could be a sign that maybe some of the kind of shadiness of the old WWE is still lurking about. I hope not, and I don't want to make it too negative a story. I just hope that Cameron Grimes gets back on his feet again, and we see him somewhere soon. And I believe he will. He's a star. He's got a lot of talent. I wouldn't shock me if he gets signed up to AEW. I think he could go places there. He's the kind of talent that maybe they could do with a guy that's versatile and can really work that a crowd like that. Yeah, that's really it for now. One thing I want to leave you on is we always do a kind of TV listings. So what to watch that's not wrestling but is wrestling related. BBC Sounds has a podcast called Sports Strangest Crimes, and they're covering the life of Bruiser Brody. And it's a really, really great series. Bruiser Brody, as you know, tragically was murdered in Puerto Rico in 1988, and was what's probably the most infamous murder that ever happened in professional wrestling. But they really go deep into his life and his career. Talk about his upbringing. They talk about his infamous, I guess you could say, wrestling career. the reputation that he had, both with promoters and other wrestlers, and they also gather information. They speak to several prominent people in wrestling, particularly journalism. Dave Meltzer actually props up in it, as does Conrad Thompson. They talk about all the things that they know and they've heard about what happened that famous night. But yeah, it's just a really, really great listen. That Sports Strangest Crimes, you can get it on the BBC Sounds app or the Spotify app. I highly recommend that. The back page, well, it's going to be Danielson versus Ospreay, is it? I'm trying to think what a good headline for it would be. I guess it would be Ospreay slays the dragon, fitting because it was St George's Day this week, and Will Ospreay, Danielson is known as the American Dragon. So yeah, that would fit that there, and I'm sure Chris would be proud of that one. So look, apologies that we've not had a main show now for a couple of weeks. As I said, just personal stuff has been affecting the lads this week, but I'm sure we'll be back with you next week with a full show. But until then, keep the heat on high. That's rubbish. We really need to find a better catchphrase to finish with. Peace out.
Hello, Heatseekers. It's the Heat Sheet.